The fascinating new 768-page book called The Real Marilyn Monroe is unlike any other you have read on Marilyn. Besides being an engrossing and intimate biography, with many colorful and fascinating new details of her life, it rewrites the history of the iconic actress who has been called the movie's Mona Lisa. Scrupulously well-researched and superbly written by longtime investigative journalist and award-winning author Larry Jordan, whose work has been widely praised and quoted by big media and respected authors worldwide. The Real Marilyn Monroe systematically destroys a mountain of lies about Monroe that have unfairly slandered her legacy. A lot of things you thought were true about Marilyn's life and death aren't. And a lot of things you thought were not true are. Writer Larry Jordan has taken nothing at face value and challenged long-held assumptions. Example: despite the official LA coroner's suicide investigation team concluding that Marilyn, quote, was not an addict, had no physical dependency on drugs, her intake could be considered light to medium and she was certainly not mentally unbalanced, unquote. The storyline that has been perpetuated to this day by unscrupulous myth-makers and copycat authors is that Marilyn was mentally ill and completely dysfunctional due to her abuse of prescription drugs and alcohol. Granted, she had her troubles, but the negative caricature of her was a gross exaggeration. This was a savvy woman who surmounted many obstacles, had no history of vengefulness, and was never going to hold a press conference to air her grievances against Jack or Bobby Kennedy. She kept her private life private, refused to speak ill of anyone, even ex-husbands, and was in the best physical and mental shape she'd been in for years. In stunning photographs and taped interviews near the end of her life, she proved she was still luminescent, articulate, and intelligent beyond dispute. Tapping recently declassified documents, personal files, unpublished written recollections by some of Marilyn's closest friends, first-hand interviews, and previously unavailable sources, author Larry Jordan paints a much different picture of Marilyn. He probes the backgrounds of those with whom Marilyn came in contact and reveals shocking new info about them. The author provides a gripping, detailed new account of how events unfolded around the time of Monroe's demise, based on long-lost contemporaneous information, with important revelations and political context no other author has offered. He also asks incisive and thought-provoking questions that should arouse any seeker of truth. This is a big book, but Jordan's brisk, though richly detailed narrative style tells a gripping story. There are many intriguing, even explosive revelations here, in a portrait that is honest, though sometimes painful, poignant, yet full of good humor. The Real Marilyn Monroe may well be the most important new book on Marilyn you've ever read. Available worldwide in print, ebook, and audiobook formats.